Shalom. I like to say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakal Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, who are the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to my Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who are risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai. And the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. This is your brother Akali from the GMS Jamaica Kingston camp, and this video is about biblical prophecy. And do you guys know what time you're in? Alright? Because we are truly in these last days, man, where biblical prophecy will be manifesting in a very serious way. You know, the elder apostle Tahar, he put up a video yesterday that said current events, hold on, actually let me get it, man. Don't want to butcher that. Current events are the fulfillment of prophecy, right? And it's true. It's true, man. These current events that are happening right now, all right, is fulfilling prophecy, and it's going to manifest to the complete fulfillment of these prophecies, man, where when it is that the famine hits, when it hits, you're going to know. There's not going to be a question about it when the famine hits. When the microchip hits, which is the mark of the beast, and it is made mandatory worldwide, no questions about it. Jacob's trouble. You won't have to ask if you're in Jacob's trouble when it comes, man. A time of great tribulation upon the Israelites. Okay? World War III. And of course, the destruction of America, man. Mr. Babylon the Great. You won't question these things when it's happening, man. It will be more than evident. But you see what's happening right now, okay, is Esau Edom's NWO agenda. Right? We know that they have an agenda based off of biblical prophecy. And we know that that agenda will fail. In the book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 12, it says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, talking about the Edomites, these so-called white people. Okay, specifically their wicked elite that are orchestrating this, which are controlled by Yahweh Shemeshai, on the left-hand side, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So it's going to fail. But there is a lot of judgment to go out from Yahweh Shemeshai, and Yahweh Shemeshai is going to be using Esau Edom as that device to bring that judgment, man. All right, that great sword. Okay, now we have this famine. Right? That's building up. We have from the Ice Age Farmer CEO, food prices to explode now. FBI/NSA warn of cyber attacks on food and water systems. We've seen videos of the hyperinflation that's happening. We've heard several news about the inflation and all these things. And a lot of times in the past, you'd hear news about things such as these or other developments in regards to prophecy, and then things would go back down. You know, it would kind of die down, you know. But these are the days where it's not going to die down, man, because this devil, referring to the so-called white man, they're moving at full speed. When Trump was president, he let the people know Operation Warp Speed. Now, he was talking about that specific thing, but read between the lines, man. Read between the lines. Esau Edom is moving full speed with their agenda. And since those words, everything has just been happening very quickly, man. Okay? Very quickly, the development of all these things. And it lets you know in the scriptures that it would have been like that, where things would have seemed that it would be, you know, tarrying, but at the end it will not. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. All right, so the prophets of Yahweh Shemishai and the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision. All right, the vision are these prophecies, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Okay? So as I mentioned before, yeah, there were times that it seemed like it was tarrying. But now we're at this time, man. Because everything has a time, man. Everything has an appointed time set by Yahweh Shemishai. And now it is clear to see, based off of observations, all right, and measuring the time diligently, as it says in 2 Ezra chapter 9, that we are truly at the end. And now these prophecies are going to be manifesting in a major way. In the book of 2 Ezra chapter 9, it says in verse 1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, so this is the time that we're in. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And the end is manifest, man. The end of this world, which is referring to the end of this age, the rulership of the Edomites. All right? Their end is manifest. And we're seeing it very clearly, man. And they know that their kingdom is coming to an end. That's why in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12 it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, the Edomites, the so-called white man, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And he knows his time is short, man. All right, that's why he's going full speed. Okay, in the book of Job, chapter 4, no. In Job chapter 14 and verse 5, it says, seeing his days are determined, all right, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, right? So it was already decided, man, from the very beginning that these Edomites will be ruling for a specific period, okay? And that at the end we'll be seeing the manifestation of major prophecies. But he has a set time for his rulership, man, and we're clearly in that set time, okay? Now, the Ice Age Farmer speaks to something, so I'll just play a little bit of this video.
My friends, good morning. The National Security Agency, the FBI, and CISA, the Cybersecurity and Information Security Agency, have all issued this past week warnings about the increased incidence of cyber attacks on our nation's food production and also on our municipal water systems and even wastewater systems, so water reclamation plants and sewers, right? This is, we've all seen the cyber attacks over the last month on the grain co-ops that shut down farmers' ability to harvest for a bit there. These were more of regional disturbances, but now to see this being raised at a federal level through all these agencies, I think is something that we need to talk about. Of course, this is the intersection of the attacks on our food supply with the World Economic Forum's predicted cyber pandemic, this series of cyber attacks that will, in their own words, and Klaus Schwab's words, bring an abrupt halt to our very way of life. So this is a conversation that we need to have today.
That Klaus Schwab guy talks about the Great Reset. All right, and right now we're in the midst of the Great Reset, man. All right.
Have it. I'm Christian, and this is the Ice Age Farmer broadcast. And before we even talk about these new cyber attacks and the fact that it's the same technology and probably the same actors behind it that were used to bring the operation in the Colonial Pipeline to a halt, I did want to mention a couple new red flags on the food production side, and that is namely this warning from billionaire and owner of supermarkets Gristedes and Diagnostico Foods, who has, because of this, right insight into the way that the food supply chain and grocers and procurement are working. And from his perspective, what he sees is that retailers are going to be forced to raise their prices for food quite tremendously over the next 2 months here. In fact, he predicts that it will be over 10% within 60 days. Now, if you look at that on an annualized basis, it's like 33% inflation. It's off the chart, right? And if there were any asset class, be it gold or food or anything, even equities, that you could guarantee a 33% return on with a short-term investment, that would be a great investment. So we don't even need to say that you should be panic buying food. Indeed, you shouldn't. That doesn't make sense. But we can say that food at this point looks like it would be a tremendous investment, a great place to put your capital. And plus, it's something you can eat no matter what happens to it, right? So briefly, let's hear from him.
You know, Maria, we're both in the oil business and we're in the food business. So I see all ends of the chain. So what are the CEOs doing? They're raising prices. They want to be ahead of the curve. So whatever's going on, I see food prices going up tremendously. They want to be ahead of the curve. And the same thing with Nabisco, and the same thing with Pepsi and Coke. They're going to drop all promotions. Prices are going up. They're going up faster than anybody expected. It's a little bit out of control because nobody wants to be, how do they say it? Behind the curve.
Chicken, eggs, meat. What kind of increases at the cash register are you seeing for groceries that impact all of us?
It's not going to reverse anytime soon. I see over 10% in the next 60 days.
Yeah, and I think that's worth hearing because, again,
Yeah, so you can watch the rest of the video. I'm going to bring out some more precepts. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So it's coming, man. All right. And Ezra said, woe is me, because of how evil the days will be, man. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right. So the famine is going to get to that point, man. Right now we're in the midst of this inflation, hyperinflation, price increases, all these kinds of things. All right. But by the way, the supply chain has been hit. So the stores aren't even being replenished as frequently as they used to be. Plus the price increase. And the trumpet shall increase a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, right? Food shortages is really going to bring out a very animalistic state within the people, man. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So it's going to be a famine of food and water. Okay? We're in this time, man. We truly are in this time. And you people, man, you people have that don't hearken onto these words, you people are going to get hit real hard with all of these things, but it is for your judgment. Another little bonus of what's going on from Sky News: petrol prices nearing record high. AA analysis finds the cost of petrol is nearing a record high as it is artificially inflated, as increases in the wholesale cost of diesel is being loaded onto petrol, according to the analysis by the AA. So I want you guys listening in to observe what is going on. First, the invisible enemy was declared. You know what the invisible enemy is, this worldwide situation, right? With that came the expediting of the central bank digital currencies. They said that the cash is dirty. They knew that they were always going to a cashless society, but here it is that this invisible enemy caused it. All right, with the invisible enemy came the solution to the invisible enemy, which has all kinds of motives behind it and purposes behind it right now with that solution. In several places around the world, you can't do things. You don't have access to things unless you take part in it. All right. So Esau, Edom, the wicked elite of Esau, Edom worked on all those things. So it's like it's coming in phases. Now we're in this next phase where the food supply is being hit. The prices are being increased. The famine is coming in, man. Okay? Take a look at what's going on. And then all of this eventually is going to lead to the manifestation of the prophecy of that Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17 and 15 and 18 as well. Okay? That microchip, which is going to be the beacon, the final stage of their NWO agenda, man. And we're in that time. So you should be asking yourself right now, what are you going to do? And if you are an Israelite, the answer is clear. Take heed unto the words of prophecy and seek Yahweh Shemishai, seek mercy, repent, and have faith that you'll be saved in these days, man. Ultimately, we know that the elect of Israel shall be saved, and that's just where it's at. All right? In the book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 3, it says, seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So you meditate on that, man. With that, I'd like to say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai, Bashim Kodesh, Wa Abad, Babal, Shalom.